You're not in four-wheel drive. You're still not in four-wheel drive. Tao. Watch Mr. Clearance with 37s. You're gonna need to lock it. Oh, back it up. Okay. Lock it. Cakewalk.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough, I wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Now, I was back and forth on whether or not to make this video and post it. And if you see what you're seeing right here, the majority of the video, there's going to be a couple water drops on the lenses, stuff like that. So if that's like an annoyance factor or whatever, just turn off. I can understand that. Now, normally if it was just me and Desric and Jason, I probably wouldn't post this video. The guy in front of Jason is James, and he's rocking the CF Moto. And two reasons I'm posting this. Fortunately, the next day he lost a wheel bearing. He didn't get to run. This was the spiciest stuff he got to run with us, so it's really the only thing I have to show of the CF Moto on this trip. And if somebody's wanting to see Trail 58, I think this video does a pretty good job of kind of showing what you're getting into on that. So if you're watching it for either of those two reasons, this is the right video. As far as top quality, good content that I try to put out, this isn't that video. Now for the day, we were kind of starting to narrow down as far as what we were riding, and it got to the point we checked the weather and they were calling for some torrential downpours, and we hadn't rode anything spicy, so when we split off from the group, I decided to hit either 57 or an outlaw trail. Two of my maps were showing two different things, but it was a trail I'd run before and remember being kind of a little bit spicy, and it was. Now unfortunately, the section of that would actually probably make the better video as far as ascend it was sprinkling so hard we have no good GoPro footage. We were just trying to hurry up and get out of the more sketchy section in case heavy rainfall started coming down, because it was a little slick on this trail. It just had got done raining. But
you know, I made the decision to do this trail based off we were dropping elevation, and I think that was the right call. I wouldn't want to do this one today on the other way.
With the steadier rain before and the more spicier trail, we was dropping down and coming down everything. Now, made that comment because if it was steadily raining and we were trying to make it up all those sections, it would have been iffy if it was somewhat dry or it quit raining for a bit, but trying to make it up that same trail, if it had been steadily raining, would have been a absolute challenge. And lastly, I'm staying true to the reason I actually started a YouTube channel, or one of the reasons I should say. When I was first debating the Honda Pioneer, like, there wasn't a lot of videos everybody ever rode with. They would ride the green stuff. I would literally go to West Virginia and see somebody with the Pioneer, and I'd follow them around, just, hey, we'll go whichever way they're going. And after 2 or 3 green trails, I didn't know what they were or weren't capable of. So I like showing all different types of machines. Now, some YouTube channels, if you ride with them, and unless you have a fail or flop or something like that, they may not even show the average machine running the same trail just because it doesn't seem cool if it's not a turbo or a certain class machine with a certain type of suspension, and that's not me. If somebody manages to do something better than me on the KRX with a lawnmower, I'll show it because it's cool. Me and Desert were kind of the pioneers of the pioneers. We were one of the handful of first people to get them and actually ride certain trails or post certain videos that actually kind of showed what the machine was capable of or not capable of. The first time I went to Moab with it, I literally had a wish list of trails I was going to do, and either I was going to do them with the Pioneer or I was getting another machine. Now, same thing, I like to show it how it is, so I'm going to show the CF Moto, good or bad. You can watch it go down the same trail that we're doing with KRXs with 35s. Now, Trail 58 is a double black diamond. It is a 1.5 mile trail, and if you're looking at it in the map, in that T15 to T16 section there. Now, even though this one is a double black diamond, I don't consider it quite as extreme. I almost wish that they would either do a numbers rating or maybe had a secondary rating for double black diamond, because it gets to that, hey, this is getting some technical and semi-extreme, and then it just goes completely wild on the spectrum. If I was doing it on the numbers rating, I mean, there might be a 3 to 4 number difference I would give certain double black diamond trails, from where, hey, it's spicy and technical, to like, oh, we gotta go through some stuff. Up ahead is a kind of a V-wash section that you need to be careful or mindful of your tire placement. Now, one thing I will say when it comes to suspension differences, and one thing I didn't like about following the KRXs with my Pioneer compared to like a Razor XP 1000, I would see when they would start to get into a full suspension articulation, or it was starting to get a little spicy, and I would pause and readjust my line. Following the KRXs, sometimes they would go through the same spot so smooth, I wouldn't think much of it and almost get myself in trouble when I come up on a big wash or a drop off. Now, going from the Pioneer, the KRX, or driving ATVs, I'm very good about knowing if I have a good idea of what somebody's suspension will or will not do, I can kind of pick a line. That's actually what I'm trying to do here for the most part, is pick lines that if he does follow me, he's not getting himself into a bind. There's one spot up ahead that I am not being a smart you-know-what, but I stop and back up and pick the line that's proper for him, and I kind of pick around with Jason, but it was one of those scenarios Jason could do just about anything as long as he wasn't stupid. He wouldn't turn it over, but if you don't have that much suspension flex, you could get yourself in trouble. And on this video, it is not a full run, so if we get a smooth, easygoing section, I'll skip that and show the next wash or rut or maybe tippy points, stuff like that. That way you can be a good judge depending on what machine you're deciding to take on this trail. Up ahead's a spot that the KRX could pretty much do just about anything it wanted to, but if you had limited suspension and articulation and you dropped in wrong, it would be an easy spot to tip a machine here.
Put your tire right there. There you go. You do whatever. What? You're not gonna tell me where to go? Because I tell you where to go with all this.
And yes, the trails this day was on the slick side. Now, if you're wondering where this trail ends up, or if you want to go back up the trail, it's off Stony Fork Road. A good, easy Google search or looking at maps if you can find Round Rock Church or Cemetery. And depending on where you're staying, if the church is on the right side, entrance is up farther on the left. If you make it to the church and it's on your left, turn around, you've missed the entrance on your right. So there is no such thing as a perfect machine, it's just what's the best fit for you. That's why I like showing stuff like this. You may watch this video and say, hey, this is spicier than any of my friends like to ride. I can run across a good deal on one. This does what I need it to do or is capable, and that's what I like to see, is where the capability is, what a machine can and can't do, and where its limitations are. And if you do use Rock Around Church as a easy Googleable pull up maps and get to the trailhead, make sure you have that downloaded offline if you're trying to do that. And of course, if you're going into Windrock Trails, have some type of good tracking and mapping apps. I don't really have a one pick favorite for here. I like using a few different ones. The Windrock Trail map is a good basic one to get the basic trails. Polaris Ride Command doesn't do too bad. Lifetime Trail Maps, Bob T's, they're all different ones, and I run a few others as well, but make sure you have something that you can at least track and figure out the base maps. And the Windrock one, probably, if you're trying to figure out the main trails, how to get around, that would probably be my number one pick if you're just trying to get around the basics of the main trails, or as a secondary to have if you have something else that already works good here. This little fork towards the end is maybe something to take a small mental note, which again, if you have good mapping, you should be able to figure it out. But we went to the right here. There's one little spot that's a little sketchy. If you did get too tippy, you could turn it over into the Water Creek section up ahead, but not too crazy. Now once you get down to this creek crossing section, you're going to just directly cross it the way he's facing, and that'll take you back out to the road. The creek section is pretty cool just to hang out, take some pictures, enjoy the views. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Until the next adventure, hope you have a good one.